Hello everyone. We will talk about pteridophytes. You have already completed bryophytes in the previous lesson. Now the next division is pteridophytes. You might be aware with the ferns, and the ferns are very common pteridophytes. The scientific name of the ferns, so many ferns they are found in our localities. In the nearby places, you can observe Bryophytes, Lycopodium. They are collectively called ferns. Some other members are also there, like Selaginella, Marsilia, Equisetum. All these are also ferns. Some of the ferns they are aquatic in nature also. So today we will talk about the characteristics of pteridophytes. The pteridophytes are the primitive seedless vascular plants. Primitive seedless. You will observe in all the members of pteridophytes, in all the ferns, you can say the seeds are absent. In all the angiospermic plant, in flowering plants, seeds, even in the gymnosperm also. After pteridophyte, I will teach you gymnosperm, angiosperm. In gymnosperm and angiosperm, seeds are found, seeds are present. But in the pteridophytes, in all the members of pteridophytes, seeds are absent. And that's why they are called seedless plants. And even the vascular, they are seedless and vascular plant. In all the hair plants like in gymnosperm, angiosperm, vascular tissues are present, xylem and phloem. And in pteridophytes also, the vascular tissues, they are well developed. Xylem and phloem, these two conducting tissues are found, which are responsible for the transport of materials from one place to the another place. So the members of pteridophytes, they are known as, or they are considered as the primitive seedless. Means they don't have the seeds, while the vascular tissues are present, or you can say the vascular and the xylem and phloem, the conducting tissues are present. In the bryophytes, as I told you, in bryophytes the vascular tissues are absent except in mosses, but in mosses also the vascular tissues are not differentiated into the xylem and phloem. They are not well developed. But from the pteridophytes, gymnosperm, angiosperm, the vascular tissues, they are present. Now regarding the habitat of the pteridophytes, I have collected some of the ferns. You can observe. This is the fern, a plant of the pteridophytes. The scientific name of this fern is Bryophytes. It is a type of fern. It is collectively called fern. This is Bryophytes. This is also Bryophytes. I will teach you about the same. Some other ferns, they are also found in the school campus, in our school campus. Whenever you will come back to the school, you will observe so many ferns, variety of the ferns in the rainy season, in the month of June, July, you can observe even in your school premises. Regarding the habitat, the pteridophytes, all the members of the pteridophytes, they are found in the cool, damp and sandy places. They are definitely, the pteridophytes, they are the first terrestrial plant, means they are adapted to grow into the soil, into the terrestrial condition, into the land, but they do not prefer the dry condition. They grow into the moist and sandy places, into the damp places. But when the temperature is too much or in the dry conditions, you can't observe the members of pteridophytes. You can't observe ferns. In the hilly areas, in our school you can observe so many ferns, variety of the ferns, but hardly you will observe the ferns. Some ferns like Bryophytes you can observe, but not all the ferns you can observe into the plains. So overall, the ferns, like the Bryophytes, they also need the moist and sandy places, the cool places. Some of the ferns even they grow into the sandy areas also, where the sands are present. Exceptional, some of the ferns they are also found, but the majority of the ferns they prefer the moist and sandy places. Now regarding the plant body, how the plant body looks, how pteridophytes looks. The pteridophytes, the body of the pteridophytes ranges from fraction of the centimeter up to the very large in size. Some of the ferns they are even the leaf size, it is about 1 meter, and the largest fern it is about 20 meter in length, like Angiopteris. So fraction of the centimeter it goes to the Azolla. It is aquatic fern. It's very small. Pteridophyte, it's very small. You can say the member of the pteridophytes. While some of the ferns, their length is 20 meter in size, like Angiopteris. Even some of the ferns you can observe the leaf like Bryophytes, sometimes it goes up to 1 meter in length also. But overall, the members of the pteridophytes they are advanced than the Bryophytes, and here the body is divided, the body is differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Their structure is not like in the tree form like other plants which you can observe into your surroundings. But still here the underground, the stem is generally underground, and the underground stem is known as rhizome. Like in this case, you can observe here, this one is the rhizome, this is the rhizome, this is not whole, this from here up to here, this is a single leaf, and the underground part of this plant is called rhizome. So the stem is underground in the case of fern, like in the case of Bryophytes, and from the rhizome you can't observe from outside. They are inserted, or you can say the rhizome is found beneath to the soil. From the rhizome, so many roots are arises. This is, suppose this one is the rhizome, and these all are the roots, and the roots are like adventitious roots. Adventitious roots means so many roots, the branches, they are arised from a common point. All the roots, they are originated from a common point. All the roots are main. These roots are called adventitious roots. So the stem is there. This one is the stem, and this underground stem is called rhizome, and these are the roots, And from here up to here, this whole part is the leaf. You can observe in this also, from here up to here, this whole part is the leaf. And the leaf is bipinnately compound. I will teach you, don't worry, that why I am going to consider from here up to here. This is not the simple leaf. Actually, this is a type of the leaf that is called compound leaf. The compound leaf is further divided into the pinnately compound leaf, palmately compound leaf. This is actually bipinnately compound leaf. Here leaf, this one leaf, the leaf. So all these are the leaves, but this is the single leaf. I will teach you, whenever I will teach you I will cover the topic angiospermic plant. I will teach you in detail about the types of leaf. So don't get confused about the simple leaf, compound leaf. But in this topic, just you can consider that the leaf, this whole part is called leaf. This is not the stem part. This is actually the part of the leaf that is called rachis. I will teach you later on. This time you can consider these are the parts of the leaves or the leaf. These are the leaves. So in pteridophytes, all the members of the pteridophytes like Bryopteris, Selaginella, Equisetum, Marsilia, Azolla, in all the members, the plant body is well differentiated into the roots, stem and leaf. And the leaf is generally underground, and this underground stem is called rhizome, and from rhizome so many roots are arises, and the roots can absorb water and minerals from the soil. The main plant body is sporophyte. Just you can recall about the characteristics of the bryophyte. The main plant body of the bryophyte is gametophyte, but the plant body of the pteridophyte is the sporophyte, because all the cells of the main plant body is diploid in nature. The chromosomes, they are present in the pair in each cell, and that's why, because of the diploid nature of the cell, the plant is said to be what? Sporophyte. So the main plant body is sporophyte. You can write down 2N. Sporophyte 2N. And this sporophytic plant produces spores. So many spores, they are produced inside the sporangia. And sporangia are born on the leaf, and these leaves are called sporophyll. You can observe here with the diagram. Suppose this is the leaf of the fern. The leaf of the fern containing so many granular structure, and these are called sorus, and in each sorus so many sporangia. So many sporangia are there, and in each sporangia so many spores are found. This is the sporangia, and these are the spores, and the group of the sporangia are called sorus. In the leaf, you can observe here that you can consider all these leaves. Not all the leaves they produce the spores. Only few leaves after the maturity they produce the spores, and the spores they are present on the back side of the leaves. Suppose some of the leaves they are going to produce the spores, and the leaves which are producing the spores, these leaves are called sporophyll. This is the sporophyll. So sporophyll is the leaf which produces what? Spores. On the back side of the sporophyll, some granular structures are found, and these are called spores. Spores, it's very, very important. You must differentiate what is spores, what is sporangia, what are spores. The group of sporangia, suppose these are the sporangia. So the group of the sporangia is called spores. The individual one is called sporangia, or you can say sporangium. And inside the sporangium, so many spores are present. These spores, they are microscopic in nature. I will show you here. Actually, this time, today I collected this one, but I can't observe because the leaf is not mature. So you can't observe the spores. But later on, you can observe some granular structure attached on the sporophyll on the back side, and this granular, so many spori, the individual one is called spores, so many spores, so many, you can say spori, they are present on the back side. Whenever you will cut the transverse section of spores along with the sporophyll, you will observe so many sporangia, and inside the sporangia, so many spores, they are present. So overall, the main plant body is what? Sporophyte. The sporophytic plant produces what? Spores, and these spores, they are produced inside the sac. This is called sporangia or sporangium. And the group of sporangium, it is called spores. When the spores, they are matured, the spores are liberated from the leaf. The spores, they are coming from the leaf. Suppose these are the spores, and the spores, then they form a gametophytic, a multicellular gametophytic plant in the soil. Each spore can produce the gametophytic plant, and this gametophytic plant is multicellular, made up of so many cells. The gametophytic plant is thyloid in nature. This gametophytic plant is also known as prothallus. This gametophytic plant is known as prothallus. As you know, all these spores, they are produced inside the sporangium by the process of meiosis. So what is the ploidy of this individual spore? The spore is haploid in nature, and this haploid spore, it forms a short duration plant, ephemeral plant, and this is called gametophytic plant, or you can say prothallus. And why it is said to be the gametophytic plant? Because each cell is haploid in nature, and this gametophytic plant is called prothallus. So the main plant is sporophytic, diploid, and the diploid plant, it then produces a new gametophytic plant. All these cells, they are haploid in nature. This gametophytic plant is thylakoid in nature. You can't observe this thylakoid structure by your naked eye. They are very small, and the gametophytic plant is green in structure. It is multicellular. It has so many rhizoids also. It looks just like the bryophytes. It absorbs water from the soil. The gametophytic plant lasts for only few days. They do not alive for the maximum duration. The gametophytic plant later on, it forms the two sex organs. The male sex organ is called antheridium. This is called antheridium, and this female sex organ is called archegonium. The two sex organs are formed. The female sex organ is archegonium and the male sex organ is called antheridium. The antheridium and archegonium, which are the male and female sex organs, both the sex organs, they are embedded in the prothallus. Later on, the antheridium, it produces the male gametes, and these male gametes are called antherozoites. Like the bryophyte, it produces the antherozoites like this. And the female sex organ, it contains what? Egg. The archegonium contains egg. Then the antherozoites comes from the antheridium. It enters inside the archegonium, and antherozoid, any single antherozoid fuses with the egg to form what? Zygote. And again, the zygote, it forms the new sporophytic plant. So once again you can see here, the main plant is sporophytic, and this sporophytic plant, the leaves, that is sporophyll, produces the spores. All these spores, they are born, they are produced inside the sporangia. The group of the sporangia is called Spores. When the spores are fallen down from the main plant, from the sporophyll, each spore can produce a new gametophytic plant. This new gametophytic plant lasts for only few days till the process of fertilization. This gametophytic plant develops later on. This is thylakoid in nature. This gametophytic plant is known as prothallus. Later on, this prothallus or the gametophytic plant produces two sex organs, that is male and female. The male sex organ is called antheridium and the female sex organ is called archegonium. The antheridium and archegonium both are embedded on the prothallus. The antheridium produces the male gametes, antherozoites, while archegonium, it produces the egg. Again, water is needed for the process of fertilization here in the case of fern also. The antherozoites, they come outside from the antheridium, and any single antherozoid can fuse with the egg to form zygote. And zygote, again the male and female gamete, which are haploid in nature, they fuse together to form the diploid zygote, and this diploid zygote develops into the embryo, and then new gametophytic plant is produced, and the remaining, this structure, the prothallus, is finally disappeared. Actually, in majority of the ferns, when the spores, they are produced inside the sporangium, all these spores, they are similar, they are identical, And if the identical spores are produced, similar spores are produced inside the sporangium in the leaf, the spores are called homospores. Homospores means identical spores. If all the spores they are produced which are identical, similar, the spores are said to be homospores. The homospores condition is found in the case of in this plant also, in this fern also, in Bryopteris, in Lycopodium. The spores are identical. But in some of the cases, like in Selaginella, Selaginella is also a type of fern, a member of Pteridophyte. Azolla, it is a type of aquatic fern. In both of the cases, the spores are of two types. The smaller spores and the bigger spores. The smaller spores, they are called microspores, and the bigger one is called megaspores. When these two types of spores they are liberated, they come outside from the sporangium. The microspores, the smaller one, it forms the male prothallus, and the bigger one, it forms what? The megaspore, it forms the female prothallus. And in this case, the male and female prothallus, both they are differentiated to each other, and in the presence of water, the process of fertilization takes place. The male gametes comes from male prothallus to the female prothallus, and the process of fertilization takes place. In Selaginella and Salvinia, in these two plants, where the spores are of two types, microspores and megaspores, after fertilization, I have written here, after fertilization, the zygote develops into the embryo, and that embryo is formed into the female gametophytic plant. That embryo is still born in the gametophytic plant into the female gametophytic plant, and this event is considered as the precursor of the seed habitat. Means now from these two plants, maybe the Selaginella and Salvinia, maybe the base, maybe the precursor of the seed habitat, which are formed mainly into the gymnospermic and angiospermic plants. So that's all about the characteristics of the pteridophytes. And once again, you can keep in your mind about the characteristics of the pteridophytes. Some of the points, they are very, very important, that the members of the pteridophytes, they are found into moist, shady, cool places. The main plant of the pteridophyte is sporophyte, which is differentiated into the root, stem and leaf. The vascular tissues are found here. The xylem and phloem, these two tissues are found in the case of pteridophyte to transport the materials from one place to the another place. The main plant body, that is sporophyte, produces spores, and the spores are produced on the leaf. That leaf is called what? Sporophyll. In majority of the plants, the spores are identical, similar, and these spores are called homospores. But in Selaginella and Salvinia, the spores are of two types, microspores and megaspores. Overall, when the spores, they are fallen down, when they come outside from the sporophyll, they fallen down onto the soil, they form a small gametophytic plant which lasts for only shorter duration. This is called the gametophytic plant. The gametophytic plant is totally dissociated from the sporophytic plant, and this gametophytic plant is multicellular. This is called thyroid, prothallus, and the gametophytic plant later on it forms the two sex organs, male and female sex organs, which are called antheridium and archegonium respectively. Antheridium produces anthrozoites, archegonium produces egg. After fertilization, in fertilization water is needed. After fertilization, zygote is formed and zygote develops into the embryo, and then embryo again it gives a new sporophytic plant. So that's all about the characteristics of pteridophytes. Tomorrow I will teach you about the differences between bryophytes and pteridophytes, and also the economic importance of pteridophytes. So that's all for today. I request you all to open the NCERT book. If you don't have the NCERT book, you can download the contents, the NCERT chapter on your mobile phone and your laptop in the PDF form, and you can read till the time you are getting the textbook from the school. But I request to you all to make the proper notes. Today I taught the characteristics of pteridophytes. I am going according to the NCERT. You can make the points. Suppose I have taught algae, then bryophytes, pteridophytes is going on. Just you take your notebooks and write down all the common points, the characteristics, and you learn. All these characteristics are very, very important. While you are writing or making the notes, you also learn. Suppose if you have prepared the notes of algae and bryophytes, you just see the differences also, that what are the differences in algae and bryophytes. Then today I taught you the pteridophytes. Again you correlate, you find out the similarities and differences between the bryophytes and pteridophytes, the economic importance of all these algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes. So gradually you will learn